Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow Salon Soul brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode of the Hump of the Week, 7 at 7. I'm here in the beautiful County Antrim, and it's a place that has a couple of very, very strong cultural things happening. And I could have chose to be at Joanne's Causeway, which is a great place, but I decided I do like an ale whiskey that I'll just opt for the Bushmills Distillery. Here at Bushmills, they've created some of the most well-known blends of whiskey. They've made whiskey in art form that it's renowned. Irish whiskey is renowned throughout the world, but Bushmills is truly renowned in the world for its craft, for its expertise, for its purity, and for the skill of what people make. And would you believe that 20 minutes down the road from Bushmills is a town called Dunloy? And in Dunloy, there is an amazing artistic hairdresser, and she's sitting right beside me here. And it's Joanne ONeill. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Greg. What a great introduction.
Well, let's tell you a little bit about Joanne. Okay, Joanne has worked in her boutique salon. She's 30 years in the industry. She'll correct me. How many years are you working as a solo in your own salon?
I am in my own salon about, well, 25 years.
25 years. So you set out very young. In that career, Joanne has just blown me away on what I've seen and what you and the work that you've done. You've won ultimate amounts of awards. I mean, like really, there's not a lot you haven't won, and these are international awards. You've been a finalist at the British Hairdressing Awards in 2013, 2015, 2017. Alternative Visionary Award. Now, the Alternative Hair Show is just legendary in our industry. To win the Visionary Award in 2005 and 2010, like that says it all for me. But what I love when I watch Joanne is to see the avant-garde work that you produce. And when you look that you come from a small part of rural Ireland, and you kind of go, wow, where do you get the inspiration? And we want to travel into that. Joanne is also, like myself, around a long time and is a fellow recipient of the IHF Icon Awards, which is, to me, a great honor to be that your peers have bestowed this award on you. And I think it's fantastic. Joanne's career, which I've always felt I love to know, is that how far can you take your career? How far can you take it? Well, this has taken this lady to work on fashion shoots at Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, and all over the world as a session stylist. So she's not just a salon owner, you're a session stylist that has really taken your craft to the highest levels it can go. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big welcome here tonight for the amazing and very, very modest Joanne ONeill. Welcome, Joanne.
Oh, thank you very much, Greg.
So, that was get started, or have I given enough of an introduction?
That's a really big one. Yes, thank you very much. Very generous, I think.
No, it's well deserved. So let's start with the first question. Why did you choose hairdressing as a career?
Oh, I chose hairdressing because I just loved fashion. When I was at school, I was very much into art and music. And I suppose I really wanted to be a fashion designer. I loved making clothes and very arts and craftsy. But I was working in my dad's paint shop in Ballymena, and a local town. And the girls that worked in the salon opposite the shop had the most amazing makeup, clothes, hair. And every other week they were changing the colour. And I was just so intrigued by their hair and how they looked that I wanted to see inside the salon. So I think I was about 13. And I begged my mother to send me in to get my hair trimmed, just to see the inside of the salon. And when I got inside the salon, I just loved the atmosphere, the music, and the girls. And honestly, I think that's it. It was purely just because of how it looked.
It's amazing, funny that you should say that. Is that we sometimes I don't think realize the power of our window and people passing by and the show that's going on inside the salon that we just take for granted.
Yes, but the thing is, you have to understand, when I was 13, 14, I wasn't interested in putting that on myself. Although I went and had my hair cut, it was the only excuse to get in to see the inside of the salon. But I wouldn't have wanted to be that person having the hair done or the clothes. You know, I wanted to make them. Do you mean I wanted to make the clothes?
So where did you start your training then?
I started in Stickies in Ballymena, in that salon that I'm talking about. So when I was about 14, there was a week's work experience from school, and I went in every day just to get a hold of the boss. She didn't work every day. She would have been in and out of the salon. She didn't really work full time, and so I had to wait till I got hold of her. So I was coming in for, must have been at least 2 weeks before I got hold of her. And she signed my form so as I could come and work, do the week's work experience. And that was it. I was completely hooked.
And then you fully trained with her. And then
I worked there for probably, I worked the summers, and then I did go to college. My mum and dad insisted that I go to college. And if I wanted to be a hairdresser, I had to get the qualifications. Because my mum and dad really wanted me to do interior design, because my dad's a painting contractor and he just wanted me to follow it, you know, the family business. But as much as I loved art and everything, it really was more, I really did like fashion. And my teacher at school, she kept saying, you know, your art's not good enough. You're not going to be a fashion designer. You're not going to get to art college. And, you know, I suppose maybe I lost heart in that, and I kind of believed what she said. And at 16, 17, you know, you don't have a lot of, or I didn't have a lot of confidence. And in Belfast, you weren't allowed to go anywhere really, you know, as well. So there's a lot of things that did hold me back. And my parents would have been very protective, and they didn't really let you, you know, go anywhere. They didn't want me to go to college in Belfast and all this kind of stuff. So I ended up going to the hairdressing college in Ballymena at Troston Avenue. And I don't know that I was that happy at the start. I did love the salon work, and I struggled a wee bit with having to do the every day at college. I did struggle with it because I was looking forward to getting left school, to be honest. But my boss, Sticky Torrens, he could see that. Well, obviously, he must have thought I had a bit of potential, because I used to stand right at his elbow and watch everything that he did, because I'm more creative. I have to see it and do it. You know, reading about it and watching it isn't for me. I have to be doing it. And he really took me under his wing. And the first thing, I think we were only in college maybe a week or two, and this brochure was coming around about a hair competition, and it was through the IHF at the time. And the college in Ballymena didn't really go to the All-Ireland hairdressing competitions, but the brochure came in, and I read at the bottom, fantasy hair competition, and I thought, oh wow, what's that about? You know, so I took it to Sticky and I said, that's his nickname. His name is Nevin Torrens, but everybody knows him as Sticky. And so he'd be cross if I didn't call him Sticky. But Sticky, he said to me, I don't know why you want to enter competition, because it's fixed. Competition's fixed. Don't enter it. So you can see I really took on board what he said, because when I did the first competition, you know, I actually won the first competition. We entered the senior fantasy, and it was in what hotel was it in? It was in Dunmurry.
Probably.
The one in Dunmurry, actually. The one in Dunmurry, just outside Belfast.
All right.
We won the senior fantasy with my sister, who was 2 years younger than me, so she was 15. But I had a lot of help, I have to say, for the first competition. He had all the girls in the salon prepping the hair and getting me geared up to take part in the competition. So that was where, you know, the very first time I entered a competition, and I actually cried, because the amount of help that I got, I felt like I was cheating and that I didn't do it myself. So I'd actually had a whole meltdown in the salon. And he said to me, you know, take the help this time, and the next time you won't need help. But he really held me up and supported me and gave me all the help that I needed. And that was my first ever competition, was with him. So I stayed there in that salon for about 6 years.
And then that leads lovely then into my next question, is why did you choose then to open your own salon?
money. Honest to God.
Good enough reason.
I was really, really busy in the salon in Ballymena. And in those days, there was no set wage. There was no commission. So we got like £75 a week. And that was it. And I just really needed money. I wanted to travel. So I wanted to go to New York because I wanted to go and do hairdressing in New York. I never went, but this is when I was 21 and I really, really wanted to go to New York to do hair, 2021, whatever. And I was all full of myself and I really wanted to go and I had no money and my mum and dad really didn't want me to go to New York. They were very protective and there's no way you're going to New York on your own and all this kind of stuff. And Daddy said, look, I'll help you set up a salon on your own. And honestly, it was just outside the house. It was just in the backyard. And I just bought a sterilising unit. I had a chair and a mirror and a wash basin, and that was it, and towels. And I set up my own salon and I just sat on a chair and I read a magazine or read a book and waited on people coming. And that's how my salon started. And I purely opened it because I wanted money so as I could get traveling. But what happened was I kind of got a bit stuck for a while because I think I must have lost my confidence a bit because I kept entering more competitions. I kind of put my focus into them, and it might have been, but in hindsight, you know, I kind of think I kept looking to see how I could get better, how I could be better. But because I was working on my own, I just feel I didn't have enough going on, enough influence. I mean, hairdressing career and I did get stuck a little bit in the salon for a time. Yeah. So
that would lead nice into, you know, if you were to look, the next question is, if you were to look back on when you at 21 starting, is there anything you feel, if I was doing that again, or if somebody ever came to me for a bit of advice at 21 about this is what I would say to them, what would you say?
I would say, well, for me, if I was talking to myself, what I would say is to not be in a hurry to open a salon. Don't listen to your parents when you get over 18. Don't listen to them at all. But maybe trust yourself and go forward and go off when you're free and able to do it. Go to New York, go to London, go wherever it is you want to go. Go in search of the money that you need. Trust the work that you can do and take yourself to another level. I feel what I did stopped me in my tracks for a time. But I feel that if I was looking at myself, you know, in hindsight, if it was me and if it was my daughter, if Susan said I want to be a hairdresser, she'd be packed up with a good kit and sent off 100%. Go and find your feet. You can ring home, get money to come home, no problem. But and I'm going to give advice to parents.
I've seen some kids to do that, and then some need a little bit of encouragement to do it. And I've got 3 kids myself.
Yeah.
The eldest, she moved out, you know, young enough, but want to train as a hairdresser. The middle girl works for us and wants to someday run the business. And my son just wanted to leave from the time he was allowed to leave.
Yeah.
And at 25, he lived in London. He's lived in New York, and he's back in Dublin now. And you kind of go, he's worldly. You know what I mean? He's worldly. So I think you're right.
You and I are probably similar age. My mum and dad aren't, do you know what I mean? Well, maybe you got to travel. I'm not sure. Maybe you, when you were young. No, I certainly didn't. So, like, I remember going to Belfast for maybe a training course, which would have happened once in a blue moon. And my dad would have said, don't leave this building. I will be back for you. And I remember taking myself on a wee walk up the street just to get a bun or something and chat to the people in Belfast. And I've been all over the world and I've never had anything happen to me. I've been grand.
Yeah, that's it, you know. So based on, plus you're traveling, what you've done yourself, what do you think makes an amazing salon?
Oh, I think an amazing salon, really, there's a lot of elements, I think, to an amazing salon. I think it's knowledge for sure is the top thing, having the skills and the knowledge and that education is absolutely paramount. Having a really good team behind you as well is paramount. Like all the fluff that goes on in salons is not needed. I think there's too much emphasis put on maybe decor and whatever. I think skills are utmost importance, and reliability. That's, for me, that's everything.
Because I got a great line from, we were talking about him earlier on, Alan Austin Smith used to say, invest in people, not things. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? People come for the people, you know?
They come for the people, 100%. If your staff are knowledgeable and friendly, you know, and fully there, fully into the salon, you have an exceptional salon, regardless of the decor, regardless of the magazines that you have, regardless of the quality of the coffee, you know, or maybe the coffee's good. The coffee's good.
It was until you couldn't give it out anymore.
But the chat, I know exactly. But the people is 100% the people.
Yeah, and I think from your journey, when I'm looking at, is that people need to understand what makes them happy. So just because somebody has a 20-seater salon up the road and you've got 4, it doesn't mean you're not successful if you don't have 20.
No.
4 might be perfect for you.
Yeah, no, a salon for me, you know, there's a time in my life there, probably I'm talking about the last maybe 5 years. I kept thinking to myself, if I don't do something, I was feeling a bit trapped in the salon myself, and I really, really wanted to get out. I wanted to do more session work. You know, I just wanted to do something that really pleased me, that really made me happy, and kind of fulfill dreams, like bucket lists, whatever. So it was really, really important that I didn't pursue the salon anymore. You know, I might take a notion in 5 years' time when I get to 55. Well, I'll be nearly 55. And maybe open up a salon and have a 5-year plan or something. I don't know. Sure, I could do that. It's not a problem. And really hit it big time. I don't know, but the salon for me,
you are big time. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you look at the session work you do, Joanne.
Big time is having the time of your life. I am definitely at the pinnacle. I am having the time of my life. I can't tell you. All through COVID, I've been traveling to London. I've been working on photo shoots. I've been working behind the scenes on like videos and various things. It's been amazing. And because I'm double jabbed as well, COVID jab, I've got, you know, I've been COVID free, thank God, touch wood. I've never had any COVID. So, and I'm very careful when I go away as well. You know, I keep the mask on and clean my hands, and I don't really take public transport. I try and do taxis and various things and walk. So yeah, I've been traveling. So I definitely, if it's for me myself, definitely the pinnacle is now. I'm really enjoying it.
Now, the next question is, even though you live in Antrim, right? The world is accessible to us all now, and I've had some amazing, you know, I would say mentors in my career. But then as Duncan Kenna's daughter Jenny said to me, well, I have mentors and people who inspire me, and I kind of, that's brilliant, and that's the way we should look at it. So who would you look at in your career that have been mentors, and who are your inspirations, and where do you get the inspiration for some of the work you do? Because I just look and go, wow, I would never have thought of that. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
There wouldn't be a big Afro hair market in Dunloy, is there?
Is there what?
Big Afro clientele in Dunloy.
There's zilch.
Yeah, but yet you do some amazing work on Afro hair, you know?
Absolutely. Do you know what? I do a lot of Afro. I can do Afro. I'm not very good at braiding. I'm not very good at braiding, but I've got my training head and I'm working on it. But I love styling Afro, natural hair. I love naturally curly hair. I'm not very good at the intricate braiding, but I really love styling. I love cutting it as well. I love cutting Afro and curly hair. And I love style. I love the wigs and everything as well. So
where do you look forward? Who are the mentors and the inspiration?
Mentor, I suppose Desmond Murray. I really love the way Desmond Murray cuts the Afro wigs, and I watch every video that he does. Absolutely love all his stuff. I've got so many. A girl, Sharon Robinson, that I work with on Team McKnight. She is the most amazing Afro hairdresser. I've been watching all her videos, and even over the lockdown, they all do these Instagram lives and things like that. To be honest, I just look at pictures. I see images, like maybe old images from like the 60s and 70s, and I see the shape of the Afro, and I just cut it. I don't know how to do it, but I just cut it. You know, I'm very brave. I'm very brave when it comes to like a wig or something, or maybe not a model's own hair. I shape it whatever way I want, but I won't cut it. But I'll cut the wig whatever I want to do. Yeah, I'd be very brave where wigs are concerned.
Yeah, like so you take your inspiration looking back on old photographs of different
old movies and see the shape. Then you could maybe, you know, recreate a shape, but I find I can never recreate. I can never get my mind to copy something. I look at it and then I end up just doing whatever I want. You know what I mean? It just takes off. And I don't know, I just love cutting. I love cutting the hedges around the house as well.
That was a bit of COVID, and anyway, we have kind of done a bit of that. I think my garden, like I there's one out the front of my garden, and I'd actually take that and, oh look, that's at the ground a little bit there. I need to trim that back, and I'm sure my neighbours must go, there he goes again. Look at him out with the head. What's wrong with an like? What's wrong with the trimmers? I want to go out.
Me too. My husband said to me,
I think we get our inspiration everywhere. Like I don't know, Keith Harris. Have you ever met Keith?
I have met Keith.
I met Keith a few years ago, and we've become good friends through social media and that. And Keith does send me some amazing photographs from the 1920s, from the 30s, and I'm going, I never would have even seen that. And you'd look and you'd say, look at the and they didn't have Photoshop. They didn't have all that. And you go, how did they do it? You know?
And you see nowadays as well, which is a great thing, is a lot of the images that you're creating, if you're working on a photo shoot, there's going to be video. You see, so they're doing Instagram live or video or whatever. So you have to think of that hairstyle. It used to be you just did the front, but now it's a 360. So you have to make sure you've got every angle covered, you know. And that's you know, the good thing about it being live, about it being a really good hairstyle, is that you can see it from every angle, that you've got a look, rather than just kind of putting something on the front, you know.
Yeah. And then when you've worked on fashion weeks around the world, have you must have worked alongside with some amazing artists, as in not just hair, but even designers and that, you know.
Makeup artists and clothes designers and my all-time, I remember when I was about 14 and wanting to go to art college, and I said to my art teacher, I want to make a dress. And she's like, oh, we have to get a Vogue pattern. And I said, no, I don't want a Vogue pattern. I want to make a dress like Vivienne Westwood. This designer called Vivienne Westwood, and she did this, you know, she just puts the fabric and drapes it. And no, the teacher was having none of it, you know. So I got to work on the Vivienne Westwood show in Paris, and I'm standing right beside Vivienne Westwood, and I can't tell you, it just was something out of this world. You know, it's just out of this world, honestly.
And you love teaching as well, because I know you do a lot of work for Wella as well as a teacher. So you find you get your creative juices going, even just standing teaching. Yes,
I find I put myself under a lot of pressure. I'm not a very confident person, although I'm sure people think that's not true, but I think lack a lot of confidence and self-belief at times. I have to really push myself to keep going. I do it anyway. I know I always worry about it, and I'm afraid to put myself forward for things. And then when I go and I do it, and I surprise myself sometimes when I do things. But when I'm teaching, I take it so seriously. Do you know what I mean? And then I enjoy it when I'm there. But before I go, I'm nearly sick with nerves, worrying about what am I going to show these young people or hairdressers, or maybe they're going to be the same age as me and they'll be fit to tell me what to do. But I always find that you don't know everything. I'm never going to know everything. You know, I would be pretty boring if I wake up and discover I know everything. You know, I'd rather be learning every day. So when I go and do the work for ONeill, I love it. I love it if a young person comes in and they say to me, oh, I do it this way. Well, I'm going to steal that. And that's teaching me. And then if it's somebody my age or older than me or whatever, and they do a finger wave differently than I do, I love it. So it's a win-win situation for me when I'm teaching, because either I help them in some way or they help me. And I absolutely love being at the ONeill studio. Do you know, I actually think in all my career, I met Sinead O'Sullivan and Cleo McCormick down at the ONeill studio in Dublin. And I met them through me at O'Healy. We were doing Into Coiffure, and we were doing a presentation at ONeill. And Sinead said to me, Cleo was going to speak to you about coming to the studio to do some work. I nearly collapsed. That was like, I couldn't believe it. So, you know, working in the ONeill studio, I think gave me a lot of confidence as well. And there's been a lot of people in my life that have given me confidence and nearly pushed me on to another level, or has opened another door. And I think that's a very, very important thing for me, is even though I was here in County Antrim, I always travelled. My mum and dad, you know, I suddenly left them behind as soon as I got, you know, when I got myself up a bit. Get a car, get driving, get travelling, and networking with people is the only way to push yourself forward and to find people who can open a door for you. Yeah, honestly.
Next question then is, the last 18 months have been the strangest probably in everybody's life. You know what I mean? Unless you happen to have lived through World War II, and then you're a different, you know, you're probably a different story to tell. But I think for everybody, you know, this has been groundbreaking and life-changing for us all. So what got me going is the glass half full. At the end of each day, you just go, well, what were the glass half full moments today? You know what I mean? So over the last, you know, what have you found in your life that you can look as a positive from the changes that have happened in the last 18 months?
For me, the last 18 months, it actually gave me space. It gave me headspace to actually make a change in my life and think, that's not suiting me anymore. Honestly, I remember when Boris Johnson came on the TV and he was talking about the Salon was closing down. I had just returned home from Paris. I think it was Paris. And the Salon was bunged up with people. I had problems with staff. I had problems with clients. I had problems. Oh, my head was like up to here. And I kept thinking, you know, Paris was so much fun and I loved it. And I want to do more of that. The Salon's now becoming this mountain that I can't seem to get over. I can't, you know, the lockdown couldn't have come at a better time for me. Honestly, I thought I'm either going to snap and take to the hills and run away. But I was so glad we just closed the door. I closed the doors right away, and I just thought that this is great. Honestly, that sounds awful, but just at that moment in time, it really was honestly great. And I just sat down over the months that passed, and I thought, what is going to make me happy? How am I going to go forward with this? Because you know, I have clients that I've had for, oh my God, my whole hairdressing career. And some clients are just amazing. And then you have clients that look at awards that you win and they think that you've got some kind of a magic wand, you know, and it says more maybe about them than it does about you, you know, and remember that as well, that you're not going to be able to please everybody, but people will cling, you know, and it's hard because as I said, I'm a yes person. I like to solve problems. I don't create problems. But I thought to myself, if I don't get myself out of this mess, it's going to, you know, cost me my sanity, I think. So that was my half full moment, was realizing, you know, I can't do it all. I need to cut back on what I'm doing so as I can go forward with what I really, really want to do. And that's exactly what I did.
That's brilliant. You know, because I had a bit of an epiphany like that myself, that you kind of realize that you if it's not fun anymore, there's no point in doing it. Do you know what I mean? And the older you get, you realize if it's not fun anymore and I'm more tired at the end of the day. Why am I doing this? You know, so I think
there was quite a lot of things happened even over COVID. We had people pass away, not from COVID, but from cancers and different things happen, and it just heightened the hurt of it and the loss of them because you couldn't visit or anything. So we're not to linger on that, but I thought to myself, I've got my health here. You know, I turned 50 this year, and I thought I really need to.
You're only a kid, Joanne.
I know. I keep telling myself that as well. Need to tighten up the face, but no. I keep telling myself I've got my health. You know, I can make my own money, and I can travel, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out there, and I'm going to go traveling like I've always wanted to do. And I've got, you know, I can get on a team, and people are happy to work with me, and let's go, just get on and do it.
Yeah. I think our industry has changed from what happened for the better. And I know it doesn't always look like that, but I think when it settles down, we're going to look and say, you know what, we're in a better place now. One, I think the respect of a hairdresser has gone up tenfold in what we do, and the value of a hairdresser, plus people's time. There was a certain business model, as you said, you worked in Stickies, and I would have worked for Peter Mark, and that was a business model for its time, but maybe we kept that business model running too long. There's a certain way now, and new innovative ways that people will run salons, different sizes, whether it be rent. I know people say, oh, I don't think rent a chair works. And I go, well, it probably will work for certain people.
Yeah.
It will not work for you or in your business, but let's let people decide what they want. And that, you know, people across the door, if they're happy, they'll come back.
I know that I said to you there, I'm not the best business person maybe to speak to, but I can tell you, I have had the most wonderful life with my hairdressing because I've always loved it. I've always had enough money. To be honest, I can have whatever I want. I can have whatever. If I want to go on holiday, I can work a couple of hours extra.
Yeah.
So I can have and do whatever I want through hairdressing. And honestly, the sky's the limit. If young people would only realise how good a job it is. And maybe, I think another thing, whenever you said about what advice would you give yourself, if it was somebody now, I would say that you could make whatever money you want because you've got that social media platform as well. You know, you could be making your own videos and YouTubing and you know, there's so many possibilities now that you can do in hairdressing in a creative way. And the world is much smaller as well. So yeah, I wish I was 18.
Right. Well, on your wish list, I can't grant you that, but here we go. What would you like? This is your last question now.
Okay.
The future to hold for you in business and for you in your hairdressing career over the next 12, 18 months.
Well, for the next 12 or 18 months, well, hopefully a bit longer than that. But
no, I don't. You see, I done a listen to a girl recently. I'm reading a book, and it's called Pivot. And she said the old question of where do you see yourself in 5 years isn't relevant anymore, because she said people wanted to see where they are in 12 and 18 months. In 18 months, they might decide to change and totally flip. So we don't know.
This is where I'm the old timer, because I normally, when I like something, I keep it for a good while. So what I'm doing at the minute, I like, and I'd like to do it for a while. So the next 12 to 18 months, I'm definitely going to be training hard for myself. To be honest, at the minute, I'm not, I'm going to say I don't want to build a salon up. That sounds awful. I want to continue in the salon. I want to offer the best service because I want to get premium price and premium service that will allow me enough money that I can travel and keep going and build my kit and just have a wonderful time, because that's exactly what I'm having at the minute. And for the next 12 or 18 months, I'd really like, do you know what, since I joined the team, which is 2 years, has went like a blink of an eye. 2 years has been a blink of an eye. And I really hope that I continue doing what I'm doing at the minute for the next foreseeable future.
Well, I definitely see that. I definitely see that happening, because you're always going to be in demand, Joanne, because when I look at your work, it's just inspirational. And I think
Thank you very much.
When any young person looks back, you know what I mean? Not like, as I said it to a guest in the salon today, I'm a hairdresser by repetition. It's not something that I picked up naturally. It's just, I love the buzz of the salon. I love the people in it. I like the fact I get my hair done. I like the fact that I could go out after work because I was dressed up. I didn't have to go home and change.
Can I say something to you? What did Vidal Sassoon say? Talent is 10%.
Huh?
Your hairdressing talent is only your 10%. 90% is exactly what you are.
Yeah, and that's
hairdressing.
There are people like yourself that I honestly feel, if you'd have given them fabric, they would have produced dresses. If you'd have given them paper to draw a building, they would have made you're just a natural creator. And we're blessed to have people like yourself within the industry, because I know there's talent out there that's going to come through. And I know people feel that, you know, is it an industry young people will come into? Well, I have to feel, yes, it is. And I definitely feel that young people now can make, it's like the amount of us that say your mom and dad didn't want you to. Well, I didn't start till I was 21, so my mom and dad didn't have a say. You know what I mean? Like, I was a painter and decorator, Joanne. So your dad came to paint.
Oh,
that's where I came from. I didn't want to be covered in paint. I just wanted to be dressed like I was going out for the night out. And that's how I ended up drifting in, and then realized I had to learn the craft. Whereas somebody like you knew from the get-go you wanted to be creative, you know. Now in my career, as I said, through repetition and being around the right people, as you said, networking earlier is an amazing strength, you know.
That's the ultimate. Education is really, really important. You know, if young people equip themselves with education and knowledge, you know, and then they have their, you know, creative skills or something that, you know, you can use for social media. Creative skills, you know, don't maybe make you money right away, but they give you an imagination that you can push on forward, you know. Like the salon, definitely, as much as I keep saying I'm not business minded, but, you know, as long as you keep it in the black and you keep going, you know, it's a wonderful career.
That's great. And that's no better way to sign off. So all I have to say to you, Joanne, you've been a pleasure to chat to. You've always been a lady. Anytime I've met you, I've always enjoyed your company. And I couldn't wait to eventually get you on here, because I just think you are a creative influence in our industry that's much, much needed. And hopefully for many, many more years to come, you'll be at the forefront, either doing it yourself or teaching people how to do it, you know. So if there's any final words you'd like to say before we sign off?
No, other than just thank you so much for having me today. I was, to be honest, extremely nervous about doing it, and I thought I'm so glad we just did it today, and I didn't have to think about it for another week or two. Because honestly, I would have myself talk down and twists. I'm so nervous at times, but honestly, thank you so much for having me, and I really enjoyed it.
It was an absolute pleasure. I'm off now to open up my bottle of 12-year-old Bushmills that I have just picked up on in my virtual one. And all I have to say is to everybody out there, have a great evening, and may the hair force be with you till we meet again. Take care. Bye.
Bye.